Thank you so much. So the information given in this presentation is not legal advice or a legal opinion and should not be construed as such. Please consult with a qualified legal counsel as your particular needs. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our subject matter expert. Today we are joined by Morgan Rogers, our business development for business services and mortgages. Morgan has been with American Airlines Credit Union for 10 years. She says that her favorite part of the job is building meaningful relationships with our members while helping them to achieve their financial and business goals. She is a self-professed Swiftie and knows most of her songs. Lastly, Morgan is a proud wife and mother to her 3-year-old daughter and has a fur baby named Gumbo. Morgan, I'll check in with you for the poll questions, but for now, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction, Anna. So to get started today, thank you for everyone that's joining us. So today we will talk about home equity lines of credit and the products that are best for you, and we'll also save some time for member questions. So let's get into the webinar presentation today. So here are some common terms that you will see when applying for a home equity line of credit. So a HELOC is an open-ended line of credit secured by the equity that you have in your home. Owner-occupied and non-owner occupied. So do you live in the house or is it more of a rental property? Fixed rate. So that essentially means your rate is locked in and stays the same for the life of the loan. And variable rate. So this is an interest rate that can actually change throughout the life of the loan. So here's some common terms that you'll see. There's also a link to check out our website that has our current rates for the home equity line of credit products that we offer. And moving on. So additional terms that you will see that come into play for a HELOC include amortization. So this is a period of time that the debt is paid off with regular payments. So for example, on a 5-year, 10-year HELOC option, the second number is the amortization or the time of period that the debt is paid off. So basically the payoff period. Up next is appraisal. So this is how the value of your home is determined. So here at the credit union, we will offer a complimentary appraisal from our title company. So this works in most cases, but occasionally a full appraisal is required to determine the value of the home. Equity. So this is a calculation of the home's current market value minus the appraisal or any liens to the home. Draw. So this is an advance or withdrawal off of your home equity line of credit. So for an example, going back to the 5-year, 10-year HELOC product that we offer, the first number is the draw period. So every time that you take a draw off of a home equity line of credit, it will reset the amortization or the payback period. So essentially this recalibrates your loan payments. CLTV, current loan to value. So the current loan amount of the house compared to the value of the property. And this brings us to our first polling question. So I will turn it back to Anna and Sutton.
Oh, Anna, I think you're on mute.
Morgan, sorry about that. So first poll question, which state had the most HELOC loans in 2024 with American Airlines Credit Union? Was it A, Florida? Do you think it was B, Oklahoma? C, Texas? Or D, North Carolina?
Yeah, it looks like our attendees are voting now. Anna, what do you think the correct answer is? Because we're getting a good range of
I want to
answers right
say
now.
Florida.
So, okay.
I'm gonna go with Florida.
Yeah, so it looks like a majority of our attendees have voted, and Florida is our second most popular answer, but our most popular answer was Texas. So I'll pass it back to Morgan to give us the
Okay.
correct answer.
All right, so the answer is Texas, but followed by Florida, then Oklahoma and North Carolina. So these were the top 4 states for HELOC loans. So I will jump right back into the presentation. Thank you everyone for participating, and we will definitely save time for questions coming up in the presentation. So now let's talk about the questions that you will encounter when you actually go to apply for a HELOC. So these are really great questions and information to have in mind when you're ready to apply. So these questions that you see on the slide, these questions will help you determine your rate as well, your interest rate. So don't worry if you're not quite sure on the answers when you actually apply. These HELOC product questions, they can always be updated by your loan officer when you complete your interview when submitting the application. So just make sure that you just give your best guess and best estimate. So we will make sure that you have the best product for your needs. So the first question that you will see is the state in which the property is located. So the state, so the max CLTV combined loan to value in Texas is set at 80%, but otherwise the CLTV is 90% elsewhere. So all the other states with the exception for Texas. So there are some other limitations and that we'll go into a little bit deeper in this presentation. Up next, another question that you will need to complete is if it is owner or non-owner occupied. So if you live in the home 50% or more of the time, the address is on your driver's license, your W-2, your pay stub, chances are that means that the property is owner occupied. So non-owner occupied would be more of like a rental property, second home. Variable or fixed. These are choices that you can select for your interest rate options. And this is something that you can also discuss with your loan officer. Just keep in mind that a fixed rate is locked in, does not change for the life of the loan. We do offer a variable rate option for some of our HELOC products, and that rate can change. It's subject to change. So this is something that you can discuss with your loan officer. So also the term. So you get to select the term when applying. So the lower term is a lower interest rate. So the higher the term, you will see that that interest rate does increase. And CLTV, so combined loan to value, this is also a determining factor that will impact your interest rate. So if the CLTV is higher than 80%, keep in mind that your rate will increase. So a lot of members ask this question when they reach out to the credit union regarding a home equity line of credit. They want to know, how can I get the lowest interest rate on a HELOC? So what you need to keep in mind is the lowest rate that we offer is on a primary residence, so an owner-occupied house at a fixed rate at the lowest term, which is a 5-year, 10-year at 80% CLTV or less. So now let's go into the different types of home equity lines of credit products that we offer at the credit union. So this first product that we'll discuss is a fixed rate or a variable rate HELOC. So these are kind of the differences between these types of options. So a fixed rate and variable rate HELOC, they both have the same amortization term option, so payback period, although you can see here that the non-owner occupied homes do not have that variable rate. So really the fixed rate is only applied to your primary residence. If it's a non-owner occupied house, so rental property, second home, you do not have the variable rate option. So moving along, let's talk about home equity lines of credit loan options that are not offered in the state of Texas. So this is non-Texas. So you can see here that you can borrow up to 90% of the value of your home. But do remember that the rates increase if you go over that 80%. So non-Texas homes, they do offer the option to have convenience checks, or you may also know them as temporary checks. So those are checks that you can write off of the home equity line of credit. And as always, with any products that we offer at the credit union, there is no penalty for early payback with your loan. So now let's jump into talking about Texas. This is specifically in the state of Texas, home equity lines of credit. So our Texas owner occupied homes, so this is primary residence. Texas has unique lending guidelines. So if cash was taken out in the form of a first mortgage, you may be ineligible to take out a second lien, such as a mortgage cash refinance. So your loan officer, when you're ready to apply, they can assist you in determining the current lien position when you're ready to apply. So basically that means in Texas, you can only apply for one HELOC every 12 months. So if you take out a HELOC loan and find out that you need additional funds, you are required to wait at least 12 months to apply for additional funds. So for example, let's say that you're planning a construction or home renovation project. You know, there could be some unseen for expenses that pop up along the way. So we do recommend that members maybe try to borrow a little bit more than they think they might need, because you will not be able to take out any more equity for at least a year. And remember that the interest is only charged on funds that are advanced. So interest is only accrued or charged on funds that you actually draw upon in advance on your home equity line of credit. So Texas has some specific guidelines and also require you to take a minimum of $4,000 draws in person or in writing. So this being said, let's say that you don't need the full $4,000 at the time of the draw. You can always just reapply the remainder right back to the principal as a principal only payment, and that will help you avoid any additional interest on the funds that you might not need. So for an example, if you have a project that only requires $2,000 and you don't need the full 4K, just remember that we have no prepayment penalty and you can make principal payments of any amount at any time. So up next here on the screen is the non-owner occupied homes that are not located in the state of Texas, so elsewhere. So you can see the CLTV is much lower than the owner occupied products that we offer. The non-owner occupied homes, they do have a $450 fee, and this fee covers the credit union to essentially obtain a warranty on the home, including an title and interior inspection. So this is a non-refundable fee, but it's added after the loan is credit approved. So we won't be charging this fee as soon as you apply for this loan. It's assessed when the loan is credit approved and we're moving forward with processing. This home type for non-owner occupied homes does not have the variable rate option, so it is only fixed rate. And the payback period or amortization period is capped at 10 years. So we don't have the 15-year option on this home type. So up next, we're talking about the Texas non-owner homes. So non-occupied owner homes. So again, that's rental homes, second homes. So you can see here that it's very similar to the other states. The $450 fee applies here too, but as any HELOC loan option in the state of Texas, there is the requirement of a minimal draw amount or withdrawal of $4,000, and these requests must be made in person or in writing. And we do not offer convenience checks for these types of loans in the state of Texas. So I know that was a lot of information, so we'll take a quick pause here. If there's any questions, please add them to the chat, and I'll turn it back over to Sutton and Anna.
Yeah, Morgan, I don't see any questions currently in the chat, but there's no dumb questions. Morgan's the best in the business, so please feel free to drop it in and we will get that addressed. I believe we paused 1 or 2 more times for questions. So yeah, Morgan, I'll just give it back to you.
All right, so we'll move back into the presentation here. So up next, now that we're familiar with the HELOC products that the credit union offers, let's discuss some advantages and disadvantages of the HELOC loan options, especially when compared to other consumer loan options, so personal loans. So keep in mind that the talking points that we'll discuss on this slide aren't really necessarily the items that we're talking about that will motivate you or stop you from moving forward with the HELOC, but they really are important to consider when determining if a HELOC is right for you. So up first is an advantage. So really the first main benefit that I would like to point out is the members that have a home equity line of credit at the credit union. They can use the funds as they need to, and in turn that means they only have to make payments when they have made a withdrawal. So in a disadvantage, as we discussed earlier, there is a draw period. So a draw period is in place when members can only take advances or withdrawals against the HELOC. So once the draw period is over, you would need to reapply and requalify for a new HELOC if you would like to continue. Advantage. So next, a HELOC is potentially a loan product that offers a higher credit limit than what is available with our personal loans, depending on the equity that is available. So our personal loans at the credit union are capped at $40,000, while a HELOC option can be much higher because it's determined on the equity that you have available in your home. So up next, a disadvantage. So it's really important to be aware of the time frame of the HELOC loan process. So these days, the timeline is closer to 45 days turnaround. So this is important to keep in mind. So if you are looking for a quicker turnaround and obtaining a loan, you may want to look, if you're more in a rush, you may want to consider applying for one of our personal loans or a line of credit, because in some cases, such as the non-owner occupied homes, the process can extend up to 60 days. So the processing time is so high right now because so many members are taking advantage of our industry leading rates. So up next, let's talk about another advantage. So the rates are typically lower on a HELOC than on a regular personal loan. So this is really based largely on the fact that a personal loan is it's unsecured and a home equity is a secured loan. So this really kind of helps cut down on the risk factor to the credit union. And up next is a disadvantage. So a HELOC requires much more documentation than a regular consumer loan. So some examples of the documentation that we will request is a copy of your mortgage statement, your income, past due paychecks, pay stubs, and can be more. And we'll talk about that later on in the presentation. And advantage lastly, a 10 or 15-year payback period. So the longer the payback period, it kind of helps to minimize the actual monthly payments that you will have, the payment amount. So from the date of your last draw on the HELOC, it really gives you a longer payback period than most personal loans. So the longer the payback period, it can really help increase your monthly cash flow because payments are much smaller when they are stretched out over a longer period of time. So on a fixed rate HELOC loan, the payback period is readjusted from any draw taken on the HELOC. So on a variable rate HELOC, the payback period is not only triggered by a draw against the HELOC, but also when there is a change in the interest rate. So disadvantage. So lastly, on the disadvantages, it's important to note that the loans can be completed, they need to be completed in person, and they do require a wet signature versus our personal loans that can be completed all remotely via DocuSign. So remember that a HELOC is a mortgage product, so it does require a scheduled in-person formal closing similar to a mortgage with a credit union with a notary present. So up next, let's talk about the key factors of a home equity line of credit and a mortgage refinance with a cash out. So this is a really common question that you may be asking. So what is the difference between a HELOC and a mortgage refinance with a cash out option? So here on the screen are the main differences in these two loan types. Now, both products that we're discussing here are available at the credit union and can both be a great option for our members. So here are the details that you should consider before deciding on which loan is right for you. So for a home equity line of credit, lower to zero closing costs. On the other hand, with a mortgage refinance with the cash out option, the closing costs vary. It's typically 2 to 8% of your loan amount. With a HELOC, the interest rate is a little bit slightly higher than a mortgage right now, and that is true today. And the payback period is 10 to 15 years. On the other hand, with the mortgage refinance cash out option, the mortgage interest rates are lower than the HELOC interest rates, and you do get that longer payback period, up to 30 years. So with the HELOC, it is a line of credit. So the interest is only paid on the balance, so the funds that you take a draw on, and the available balance increases as the loan is paid back for the draw period. So similar to a credit card, and it is a line of credit. With a mortgage refinance cash out, the funds are paid in one lump sum. So the interest is paid on the full mortgage balance. So let's move along, and that brings us to our poll question number 2, and I will turn it right back over to Anna and Sutton.
Which rate discounts, if any, apply to HELOCs? A, welcome aboard. B, direct deposit. C, loan loyalty. Or is it D, none?
All right, we already have the votes coming in, super active attendees today. Thank you guys. Yeah, we're getting some interesting answers across the board. One of our most popular right now answers is none, which has been a first for this webinar for sure. We also have some loan loyalty and direct deposit. No one has said welcome aboard. So Morgan, bestow some knowledge on us. Can you let us know what the correct answers are?
Yes. Okay, maybe a little bit of a trick question. So the answer is actually A and C. So eligible for a welcome aboard discount, which is for new memberships within the first 90 days. You're eligible for that welcome aboard discount, or the loan loyalty. So if you have a loan open with us for 2 more years, you're loan loyal with us, we also give you that advantage of having that discount as well.
Awesome. Good to know.
All right, thank you
Sweet. Thank you,
everyone for
Morgan.
participating.
I say we're just gonna pass it back to you, Morgan. So
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so we will go ahead and jump right back into the presentation. So now let's talk about the best way to apply. So we've given you all the information on the HELOC loan products that we offer and gone over some of the HELOC loan terminology that you'll see that comes into play. So now we are ready to start the application. So the best way to apply is online. So these applications are long. They do require a lot of information. And the online application really does allow you to take your time to submit all the required information and documents to get this process started. So once the application is submitted online, it is forwarded to a loan officer that will be used during the loan interview process. So if there's any changes or updates or questions that you have, we will address those once you submit the application. So any of your answers, any of the information, we can always make edits, updates, and adjustments to. So we are available for questions during the application process. And please remember that the application, like I said, can be updated by a loan officer after applying as needed. So just give your best guess, your best answers when submitting your application. So here on the slide, you can see some of the primary information that you can go ahead and gather when applying online to highly expedite your HELOC loan processing time. And you can apply online. You can actually sign into your online banking product. You do need to go ahead and have a membership established with us to open any loan products with us. So once you have that set up, you can go ahead and apply for the HELOC online. Some of the key basics that you will need to know and that I suggest that you have ready when you go to apply is the amount requested. So how much are you requesting for the total loan amount for your home equity line of credit? The loan reason, this is a requirement for the application. So we need to know what the funds will be used for. Will it be for home renovation purposes, debt consolidation loan, something to that for debt consolidation, estimated property values. So give your best guess or estimation on your property value. And also we need to know, is this your primary residence or is it a second home or rental property? Also, please have the information of your current balance of your mortgage. So this helps us determine the CLTV and the balance of your second mortgage if applicable. So up next, let's go a little bit deeper on the documents that we will be requesting. So these are the documents that we will need to process your home equity line of credit. So you can see here that the primary documents are listed on the slides. So while we may request additional documentation, most members will need 30 days of pay stubs, and this is for both any borrowers on the home equity line of credit application. Will also request the last 2 years of W-2 tax returns along with your homeowner's insurance declaration pages. We will also request a copy of your property tax statements. And if your property is associated with an HOA, we will also request those documents as well. So really the main goal in obtaining all these necessary documents is to create a clear picture of your total financial blueprint. So this is a mortgage product, so you will see it's very similar to processing a mortgage loan. Some of the less common documents you'll see here on the right side of the screen that we may request for different life events. So please keep in mind that a loan officer may reach back out to request further documentation to complete your application after you submitted it. So please respond quickly with your documents and have them ready. There are many regulations with these type of loans, and they are considered time sensitive. So we are required to obtain documents within 10 days of application. So within 10 days of submitting your home equity line of credit, we are required to obtain all necessary documents within 10 days. So now that we've talked about all the necessary documents that you'll need to provide, I wanted to give you guys an idea of what's happening behind the scenes after you apply for your home equity line of credit. So a lot of applicants think that when their loan is credit approved, that means that they're almost done, but in reality, you're about halfway done at this point. So once a loan officer processes your application, you will be introduced to the home equity closing team. So they will go over the final steps in the HELOC loan. These steps include ordering a title report. So this can take up to 7 business days. And once that is received, a property condition report is also ordered. And that can also take up to 5 to 7 business days as well. We will also reach out to obtain an employee status for all the applicants to be verified. And lastly, after we've ordered all the necessary title and inspection reports, the loan file will be reviewed by the closing team, and the closing team will reach out to schedule an in-person closing. So it's very similar to a mortgage closing where you will need to come and sit with us and complete your closing documents and sign all the necessary applications as well. All right, so that brings us to the end of the presentation. I wanted to share here the direct contact information and our website if you're interested in applying for a home equity line of credit or speaking with one of our specialists. And I will turn it back over to Anna and Sutton if there's any questions in the chat. And there's also some credit union information that they would like to share with you.
Yeah, Morgan, if you could pop us over to the next slide. Okay, awesome. So just some quick offers and FYIs. For those of you on the call that would like to start their membership journey with us, you can easily do so by scanning the QR code and using our promo code BD4412 at the end of your application. This code will take care of the initial new member deposit of $6, so you can have nothing to lose. Plus, once you're a member, you're always a member. Which means that if you take another opportunity outside of the air transportation industry, then you can retain your credit union benefits. And those benefits get to be shared as with your family, permanent member households, and coworkers. They're all eligible to join. And when you actually refer them, you get $25 for each referral up to 10 people. And then another quick PSA, if you are an American Airlines or Envoy Air employee, become a member today till March 31st for a chance to win $1,000. Plus, when you join, you'll receive a 25 new member bonus on this. And this is a JetNet AA exclusive offer through our internal JetNet page. And then you want to pop us over to the next slide, please, again. And then we realize that many of you already may be members. So here, could you go back one, please? So here are a few quarterly offers you can take advantage of. Really, if you enroll in online statements by March 31st, you could enter in it. You get automatically entered in for a chance to win $1,000. But be sure to check back in with at aacreditunion.org/offers for more details on these promotions. And then I think we'll pop it over to the questions. But I did not see any personal questions in my queue. Anna, did you have any questions in your queue by chance?
No, Sutton, I didn't receive any either.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, if that's it from our end, we can go ahead and close it out. Morgan, what are you thinking? You ready to go?
Sure. Just wanted to say thank you for everyone that joined us today. And if you do have questions, please complete the survey that Sutton mentioned and reach out to us. We're happy to assist. The home equity product, it's a great product for our members. So if you need additional information, please just reach out to us. Happy to be here, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Again, thank you all once again for joining us today. If we didn't get to your questions, or if you have something more personal you'd like to discuss, we'd love to connect with you. Just let us know in the survey that you'd like a credit union representative to reach out to you, and we'll follow up early next week. And that survey should be hitting your inbox today. Visit our event schedules for more details, the topic lineup for our upcoming financial wellness webinars. We have some super awesome ones coming up in March. And then stay connected with us, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to like and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss out on our helpful financial tips, upcoming events, and new webinars. We've also, on our YouTube channel, you can watch past webinar recordings. On behalf of Anna, Morgan, and myself, and the entire credit union, we truly appreciate you tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. And yeah, that's all from us. And we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.